If you're a golfer, you definitely know the feeling. You see that brand new, shiny driver on the shelf, the one promising you impossible distance and forgiveness. But then you see the price tag, and it's enough to make your wallet cry. It's this constant battle in golf, right? Does spending more money actually buy you a better game? It's the big question every single golfer asks themselves. You see the pros on TV, you see the new models in the shop, and you just have to wonder, is the driver in my bag holding me back? Or maybe even worse, did I spend a fortune on a new one for absolutely no reason at all? Well, today, we are putting that exact question to the test. We're going to find out if there's a real connection between how much you pay and how well you play. Does forking over more cash for a driver really mean better numbers on the course? Let's find out. And look, the price differences aren't just small, they're dramatic. We're looking at three totally different tiers. On the budget end, you've got a really solid older model, something like a TaylorMade SIM2 Max for about $300. In the middle, a popular modern club, say a TaylorMade Qi10 with a decent shaft that'll run you around $700. And then you get to the premium end. A custom-built Callaway Triple Diamond Max can easily top $1,000. That is a massive gap. So to settle this, we're setting up a little head-to-head showdown. We've got two amateur golfers, Tayte and Tim, and they're going to put their own drivers, the ones they play with every week, up against that premium $1,000 challenger. So our first player is Tim. He's what you'd call a high-speed player. You know, he generates a ton of power. His current driver is the TaylorMade SIM2 Max. It's a few years old, so you can grab one for around $299. But here's his problem. All that speed creates way too much spin, which makes the ball kind of balloon up in the air and actually lose distance. Our second player is Tayte. Now, he has a more moderate swing speed, and he plays the TaylorMade Qi10 Max, which is a really popular club right now. With the upgraded shaft he has, it's a solid mid-range setup at about $700. This is his go-to club. It's his reliable workhorse. And here it is, the premium challenger for both of our guys, the Callaway Triple Diamond Max. With a high-end shaft, this driver costs over $1,000. No joke. But here's the thing, it's also a massive bestseller. So the question is, can it actually outperform both the budget club and the mid-range club for two very different golfers? All right, so here's what we did. Both players hit 5 shots with their own driver and then 5 shots with the premium Callaway. We averaged out all the numbers, and the results were honestly not what we were expecting at all. First up, Tayte. With his own $700 driver, he was carrying the ball about 281 yards. Solid. But with the $1,000 Callaway, his carry distance, it dropped down to 268 yards. That's a 13-yard loss. So for him, paying a premium meant worse performance. Wow. But for Tim, our high-speed player, the story was the complete opposite. It was night and day. His $300 driver was just spinning way too much. The Callaway was an absolute game changer. It slashed his spin rate by over 700 RPMs, and his carry distance just exploded to 339 yards. That's a massive 16-yard gain. So let's just look at the raw numbers here in one simple chart. The exact same premium driver that cost Tayte 13 yards of distance gave Tim an extra 16 yards. For one guy, it was a total downgrade. For the other, it was a breakthrough. And this brings us to the most important question, right? How can one single piece of equipment produce such wildly different results? It clearly wasn't about the price, it was about the technology. And more importantly, how that tech either matched or totally mismatched the player's swing. The answer lies in why this particular Callaway driver is such a monster bestseller. It's what club fitters like to call a unicorn driver, a really rare breed of club that does something very few others on the market can actually do. So what the heck is a unicorn driver? Well, in golf, you usually have to make a choice. You can get a low-spin driver head, which is great for powerful players, but it's usually not very forgiving when you miss the center of the face. Or you can get a super forgiving head, but that design usually spins more. A unicorn driver, well, it magically merges those two opposing things into one single club head. And this explains exactly why it was perfect for Tim. You see, his high club speed was creating all that extra backspin, and that was just killing his distance.
The Callaway's low spin design took care of that, while its forgiving face meant that even on his mishits, he was still getting incredible ball speed. That combination was the perfect recipe for him to gain a ridiculous amount of yardage. And that unique design is precisely why it's so popular and, yeah, so expensive. Most brands, they keep their low spin and max forgiveness clubs separate. Callaway just merged them. And in doing that, they created the perfect weapon for a very specific type of player, someone with a lot of speed who struggles with spin and consistency. This unicorn basically cornered a part of the market, which explains why it sells so well, even with that premium price tag. So, after all of that, what's the verdict here? Is the most expensive driver actually worth it? Let's get to the final takeaway from all this. The answer is a clear, resounding no. The myth is officially busted. We saw undeniable proof that the most expensive driver is not always the best driver. For Tayte, his cheaper club was way better. Price is simply not a guarantee of performance, period. So what's the real moral of this whole story? It all comes down to a few simple words, and this is the most crucial point. It just shows the importance of getting fit. That's it. That's the key. Because, at the end of the day, the goal isn't to go out and buy the priciest driver you can find. The goal is to find the driver with the right technology for your specific swing, your speed, your spin, your typical miss. A proper fitting is what identifies that, whether it points you to a $1,000 unicorn or a $300 workhorse. That personalization, that's where the real value is hiding. So the next time you look down at the driver in your bag, don't just ask yourself what it cost. Ask yourself if it's truly the right fit for your game. Because the right club can unlock your potential, but the wrong one, no matter what the price tag says, could be the very thing that's holding you back.